Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Total Swans TV transfer window wrap-up for Swansea City. In a transfer window throughout the summer, which has seen the likes of Andre Ayew depart the club, running out his contract and moving out to Qatar to play for Al Sadd out in the Qatar League. We've also seen recently Wayne Routledge call it a day at the club as far as his playing career is concerned. He sort of promised that he will remain around the club. Nathan Dyer has also packed it in with the club and is now sort of doing some player management sort of role. Obviously, we've seen the likes of Byers leave, Declan John leave the club, Kieran Freeman leave the club. Kyle Joseph yesterday went out on loan to Cheltenham after they completed the Papa John's Trophy game. That was a little bit later on in the evening due to that game. Again, yesterday, transfer deadline day. Of course, hectic as always for the Swans. It's never really a smooth sort of process for us. There's always a bit of drama at the end of the transfer window, and I think every single Swans fan expected exactly that tomorrow. I don't think anybody woke up yesterday morning really thinking, it's going to be a really positive day. We're going to keep hold of everybody, especially with sort of few of the rumours that were lingering around throughout the summer, with the likes of Matt Grimes making a possible move to Fulham. Thankfully, nothing came to fruition there. Apparently, the club did receive a few bids for him. He is obviously out of contract next summer. And we rejected, I think, at least two bids from Fulham for Matt Grimes, our captain, a key player in our team, somebody I'm very, very glad that we were able to keep hold of. But unfortunately, we did lose a few players. Now that the transfer window door has slammed shut, I figured we would take just a quick look and a review, get a few people's opinions on how we've sort of rated and how we've seen the transfer window go for the club this summer. It's been a long old summer. Obviously, Steve Cooper, that is, departing, calling it a day at Swansea City as far as being the club manager. And we've seen Russell Martin come in to the helm and take the lead as far as what he wants to install on the team, sort of putting his stamp on it now with the exits going out, the new players coming in, trying to implement this possession-based style of football, which we've been very accustomed to over the years, and something that an awful lot of fans were screaming out for, when we had Cooper in charge. Graham Potter did a fantastic job for us a few seasons ago. Cooper came in as his replacement. We all panicked when Potter left. We sort of all had a little bit of a panic when Cooper left, but I think majority of the fan base were probably a bit more positive about Steve Cooper leaving and Russell Martin coming in. But yeah, he's starting to now put his sort of stamp on the team, trying to sort of get them playing as he wants. We've seen it in a good few games so far this season. We've struggled in a few games. The Preston game is probably the only game where we've been out-muscled and sort of not the most dominant team in the match so far this season. Only one win on the books at the moment, away to Bristol. So it's a process, as Martin has said. Trust the process. It will happen. It will take time. Nothing will happen overnight. But with transfer window now shut, no more deals can be done as far as permanent moves. As far as I'm aware, the loan window is open, I think, for another 2 weeks for anybody who needs to make sort of last-minute loan signings to get certain players over the line. And again, as far as the Swans transfer window, a lot of loan players. Again, it's probably been the majority of what we've brought in. So we will take a look at that in a little bit of depth throughout this video. It's not going to be a long one, so please just get comfortable, sit back and enjoy it. Let me know out of 10 of a rating, obviously 1 being the worst, 10 being the best, how you have rated Swansea City's transfer business throughout the summer window. I'm going to give my opinion on it. As I say, we'll get a couple of other people's opinions on it, a few replies from an Instagram sort of question I put out yesterday, and then we've got 2 videos as well from fans that we're going to share with you guys. So yeah, just sit back, sort of relax now that the transfer window is done. We're not going to lose anybody on a permanent now, so yeah, let's just hopefully these players can settle into the squad as quickly as possible and get us on track to winning ways. So as I was touching on, departures from the club this season, as I said, George Byers is gone. Garrick has also gone out on loan. Kyle Joseph has gone out on loan, come in this window and departed at the same window as well. Jamal Lowe exiting yesterday, deadline day deal to Bournemouth, reported £1.5 million. Player with an awful lot of time still left on his Swansea City contract, so mixed feelings about that one. I don't think Jamal was really fitting into what Russell Martin had planned for the squad this season. From what I've seen of him so far in home and away games, he's not really looked deadly in front of goal. He's been holding the ball up decent, but with his back to goal, nobody really playing off him. It's been a bit of a struggle for Jamal so far this season, and I think probably an exit from the club may have been the best decision for him. As for his new destination, Bournemouth, I'm not too sure if he's going to be an immediate impact there, whether or not he'll actually get a first team place. But with a £1.5 million fee, which is reported, I don't think we really got the best sort of deal from that. Maybe 2.5-3 million for him. 14 goals for us last season. In spells, a really, really dangerous player, but not really consistent. I've liked Jamal since he's come in. I think he's been a really good addition to the team, if I'm completely honest. But yeah, I think he went on a run of 7 goals in 7 games, and then 6 goals in 8 games, but not really consistent enough throughout the season. 2 really, really good spells last year, as I say, but for me, quite disappointed to lose Jamal. Obviously, we were always going to lose Andre Ayew due to the wage demands that the player had, and he's been a great servant for us when he first came into the club many seasons ago. His first interview, I've always sort of had a feeling that he was a little bit of a mercenary looking to just progress himself in the Premier League rather than help the club, but opinions have massively been changed on the player over the time that he has spent with us. Obviously, he had a loan spell out in Turkey. He did go to West Ham and then returned to the club as well. And he has, he did his best. He carried us last season. He did his best to, try and get the club back to the Premier League. Had we got there, we probably would have kept hold of him for another season at least. If not, we would have sold him this season. But yeah, Andre Ayew departing, Jamal Lowe departing, Kieran Freeman has gone on a free transfer to Portsmouth in League One. Declan John has gone on a free transfer to Bolton. He was obviously on loan there last season, and they were quite impressed with him. So, fair play to the player. Barry Mackay has left, run out his contract. As I say, Wayne Routledge has run out his contract. Nathan Dyer has called it a day on his playing time. Not really a featured at all last season. Well, he didn't feature at all for us last season. Routledge had a bit sort of role until he got injured. I think we all sort of knew that Wayne Routledge's time as a player was coming to an end with us. But the biggest sort of disappointment throughout the whole transfer window for me as a Swansea City fan was losing Connor Roberts yesterday. For the fee that we received, apparently like £2.6 million for the player, who was out of contract next season as well. And that seems to be a bit of a pattern with the Swans. We are letting these players sort of run out of their contracts, and then we end up losing them for pennies. I put a tweet out during transfer deadline day, that if we were to lose Roberts, Jamal and Grimes, for me, without contract lengths aside, I'd be looking at about 20 million. That was a little bit of an exaggeration. 15-16 million pound for the 3 players would have been perfect. For me, Connor Roberts was an 8 or a 10 million pound player. Jamal, as I've touched on, said I think he's at least a 3 million pound player. And then of course Matt Grimes, last year of his contract, you're looking at about 4 or 5 million pound in my opinion. Club captain, not really somebody you should be looking to get rid of anyway. But if you do, you want to try and get that higher end sort of price tag for a player in the last year of their contract. Thankfully, Matt Grimes did remain at the club. 2 rejected bids from Fulham. Not really an awful lot of money apparently. I've seen reports of 1.5 million for the first sort of bid and maybe 2.5 million for the second bid. Clearly not enough money. Julian Winter and the club have said no, that is not enough money. I think for whatever we were asking for him, Fulham just did not want to meet those demands, thankfully, even though they've splurged on players and spent money for the last few seasons. £100 million when they went up season before last, the Premier League. They got relegated straight away. So maybe they are trying to be a little bit more savvy with their spending this season. So yeah, as far as departures, for me, I'm disappointed with the players that have left. Obviously, a few players, fringe players, needs to go out on loan, needs to do their own sort of thing. As far as players we've retained, I'm glad at the moment that we still have Morgan Whittaker on the books. There was reports that he was going to be going out on loan. For me, that would have been disastrous. He many times this season and last season, he's been on the pitch and been our best player. Certainly an impact player, if not a starting 11. Already this season, I think that he should have been starting out on the right, Jamal on the left, and Pirro up top in many of the games. We haven't seen that at all, chosen by Russell Martin, and we're not going to see that now, obviously, with Jamal out the door. But yeah, Whittaker, I'm very, very glad that he is still at the club. I'd like to keep hold of him. Hopefully he doesn't go out on loan. The only player I would have liked to have gone out, and I think it would just be for confidence and a bit more experience for the player, would have been Liam Cullen. There's been an awful lot of sort of criticism on him. I'll hold my hands up. I've been a big critic of Cullen so far this season. I don't think he's quite got it in front of goal at first team level in the Championship. Whatever that reason is, I just don't think he's really just there yet. Whether we're going to be competing for the playoffs this season, which I don't really know if we will be, but I'll get onto that a little bit in the video. As far as, he should have gone out on loan. I think, a League One or another Championship club should have sort of come in for him and given him a bit of game time, given him a bit of experience, sort of build up his his goal scoring form, and then maybe next season, whatever league we're in, maybe give him a try then. But yeah, so that is it for the outgoings. I'll probably give a rating of about 4 as far as our outgoing business out of 10. Like I say, we should have got more money for the players we did let go, but we have been able to keep hold of quite an awful lot of our squad, which I think everyone was sort of hitting the panic button, thinking we were having a fire sale and just trying to get everybody out the door. But that hasn't been the case. We did put our foot down with Matt Grimes. We haven't let Whittaker go out on loan, so I'm quite content with it as far as the outgoings are concerned. And then looking at the incomings for Swansea City during this summer transfer window, it's been quite a busy window as far as players coming in, to be completely honest. As I said, Kyle Joseph did come in, but has also now departed in the same transfer window. Probably something disappointing for him, centre forward. Only 20 years old, but he has only gone out on loan. So, like I say, bring him back, see what sort of impact he can have on the team next season, or maybe if we need to recall him in January. We then saw the additions of Jamie Patterson coming in on a free from Bristol City, along with teammate Liam Walsh coming in from Bristol City as well. Jamie Patterson, 29, a decent player in midfield, an attacking midfielder, something that we've sort of needed, that number 10 sort of role, but yet to make a massive immediate impact, but have been quite surprised and pleasantly happy with what he's contributed so far. Hopefully he can get a bag more appearances for the Swans and make an impact sooner rather than later. Liam Walsh, centre midfielder, out with injury at the moment, disappointing for him, but really looking forward to what he can add in that midfield. We then saw Flynn Downs come in from Ipswich Town. I believe that was on a free as well. If it wasn't, I'm not entirely sure of the fee paid for the player. Transfer market has got a question mark over it, so I'm not entirely sure. I can't remember back as to what we did actually pay for him. But again, a decent looking player, so someone to keep an eye on this season. We then brought in Joel Pirro from PSV Eindhoven. We actually spent some money on this deal, reported just over £1 million, would have been about 1.3 million euros. So again, an exciting player, just 21 years old, and we have seen an immediate impact from Joel Pirro. No Pirro, no party. He's already got his own chant. People are loving him. He seems to be enjoying his time already at Swansea. If you haven't watched the vlog up at Bristol, a fantastic atmosphere. He scored the goal. He scored the goal at Bristol, so he won us the game pretty much up there. And he's making a good impact. He's got a handful of goals already this season, and somebody that I think we're quite excited to see what he can do. He's young, he's hungry in front of goal, and he's sort of impressing with Swans fans already this season. Transfer deadline day rolled through yesterday. And there was quite a busy couple of incomings for the team. I think the day started off with Reece Williams coming in on loan from Liverpool, a centre-back, 20 years old, exciting player, did fill in for Klopp's team last season with the amount of centre-back injuries they did have. I think he made 6 Champions League appearances, so we've got a Champions League player on our books now. I think he made 9 appearances in total, or maybe even 9 league appearances for Liverpool in the Premier League as well. So he does come in, he's been learning a very, very good role there at the Merseyside team, with some quality players to give him advice and for him to learn from. Hopefully now he can come in and progress as a player himself and certainly help the club maybe take that next step. But hopefully, from what I've seen from him, he's a good presence in the air. He looks quite lanky and tall, so I'm not entirely sure what his body strength is going to be, whether he'll be able to hold off players and get the better of on the ball running players towards him. Maybe trying to look to take him on one-on-one, but it'll be exciting to see what he can add. Do I think he will slot straight into the starting 11? I'm not sure. Somebody asked me on the live stream yesterday what would my back 3 be, and I think he could possibly slot in there with Bennett, Cabango and himself as a starting back 3, so it'll be interesting to see what sort of impact he does have. Late last night then, as we were waiting on the live stream, it was confirmed that Michael Obafemi from Southampton, a player that Swansea had been targeting for just over a season. We were looking to bring him in, I think it was January season before last, but the player then picked up an injury on the last day before the transfer deadline. So that was unfortunate. We weren't able to get that player over the line. He wouldn't have completed his medical at the time, but thankfully yesterday he was able to complete his medical down in Swansea, and he passed that apparently with flying colours, because he's now a Swansea City player, and that is a great bit of business coming in on a free transfer, and that is a great bit of business. The player coming in, I believe, for £1.5 million initially, extending to £2 million with potential add-ons if those clauses are met. So a good replacement with the money that we brought in for Jamal Lowe. As I've said, would have liked to have got more for Jamal, but this business bringing in Obafemi looks like it's been a really good deal. I believe the player signs on a 3-year deal as well, so he's young. He's only 21 years old, so we've got 2 attackers now who are both 21 years old, hopefully hungry in front of goal. It'd be interesting to see his body build. He's quite a stocky boy, and apparently he's got a little bit of pace about him as well, so it will be very interesting to see what sort of formation Russell Martin goes for. Will he go for the 3-5-2, which would be absolutely outstanding? I would love to see 2 up top in the starting 11 for the Swans, something I've been crying out for a very, very long time, but we just not had the resources to do so. So him and Pirro could possibly line up in the next game against Hull after the international break. We then had confirmation today, the day after the window had shut, that Swansea had completed the signing of Oliver Ncham, coming in from Celtic, a player who has got a lot of praise about him. People are quite hyped about this player coming in, a central midfielder, 25 years old, signs on a free transfer from Celtic. I have seen somewhere as well online that a few European clubs were looking to sign him last season or the season before for a reported 17 million euros. That's an awful lot of money for a player who we've now managed to pick up on free, which is why the deal didn't have to get done by the 11 p.m. deadline yesterday. So yeah, an exciting new addition to the team as well. Somebody who, again, apparently has some pace about him, looks to be an attacking sort of midfielder, and as I say, hopefully he can slot in to that midfield with Matt Grimes. Who knows what our next team lineup will look like, but it's certainly a good addition to the team, and thankfully we got that one over the line, because had we not, I think it would have been a disappointing window for the Swans. For me personally, I wouldn't have rated our window at all with the departures that we have had we not got Ncham over the line today. But I'm not sure why that was announced so late, whether or not he wasn't able to complete his medical last night, or couldn't get down to Swansea in time to do the medical or do all the paperwork. But as I said, that was a free transfer, so that one did not need to be done by deadline, and it was announced early this afternoon by the club. He has come in. I'm not sure what his deal length is. I haven't really looked too much into it. I've had a busy day myself, but as I say, coming in from Celtic, a player who had Celtic's Player of the Season last season, so a promising player coming in. Should they have let him go for free? Could they have offered him a new deal? I'm not entirely sure, but I'm very, very happy that we managed to bag Ncham on a free deal. So, as I say, some very, very good signings, some disappointing departures. All in all, a decent transfer window. I think, really, I don't think we can really have too much of a complaint other than the fees that we received for Connor Roberts and Jamal Lowe. But yeah, let me know what your opinions are on those. I think before we end the video, we will have a quick look at what people have rated our transfer window over on Instagram. I'll throw some the comments up on here now. Basically, I asked the question. I posted all the ins and outs, and I just asked what people's thoughts were on the transfer business. So let's just take a quick look through them now, and then we'll have a listen to the two videos that we've got from the Swans fans. One of them is from Luke from Swans Cast, so I'll leave his links down in the description as well, guys. Go over and follow them, subscribe to them on YouTube and follow them on Twitter. A good podcast from the Swansea City fan base. So yeah, let's have a look at the opinions, and we'll get straight into those videos, and then I'll just wrap up this video.
I'd give this summer's transfer window an 8 out of 10 myself. I'm devastated to have lost Connor Roberts for $2.5 million, but you can't begrudge the boy a chance to play in the Premier League. I'm also a bit disappointed Morgan Whittaker didn't get more of a chance. I think he's got a lot more to offer than we've seen so far. I don't feel like he's had a fair crack at a whip. Jamal Lowe, take him or leave him. Did well for us last year, but he's not the player to take us where we need to be, or where we want to be. I think Joel Pyro, Michael Obafemi, Ollie and Tatcham and Rhys Williams make us a better team than we were yesterday morning. So everybody shouting, Yanks out, hold your horses. I think, they're going to do big things for us. Keeping Matt Grimes was massive. I don't know whether it's a statement of intent from him where he wants to stay or whether we just didn't get a good enough offer, but the fact that he stayed is huge. I've liked the goalkeeper because Stephen Bender doesn't seem to be able to play out from the back, but we'll see how it goes. You've got to trust in the manager and get behind the boys, isn't it? But 8 out of 10, I think we're a better team than we were yesterday morning, definitely.
Hi Tom, thanks for having me on. It's Luke from Swans Cast. My brief overview of the transfer window. I'm going to rate it 5 out of 10. Don't think it's too bad. Don't think it's good at all. So kind of in the middle. Need to see a lot of what pans out with the players and the team after this to really judge it. But a lot of quality gone. Yesterday, obviously we had the Ayew and the loan signings earlier on, but yesterday specifically with Roberts and Lowe, really concerned about the prices, especially with the Lowe, because not last year of his contract like Roberts, and 14-15 goals last year. Hard to replace that with the amount of money that Bournemouth signed him for. I know he wasn't fitting necessarily into Martin's system, and the replacement, to be fair, was cheaper, so I'm surprised at that, and that's why I'm balancing out the rating. But if Obafemi can sort of add the goals and he is more of a striker, probably fit the system better, might work well with Perot, another good bit of business this summer. So that's kind of like a negative balance with a positive. Led, of course, is replacing Roberts. We didn't know at the time that would be the situation, but I guess in hindsight it was quite obvious. Really, really glad we've managed to keep Matt Grimes, and I think a lot of people underestimate how important that will be. Martin spoke quite keenly about how integral Grimes will be to his system, and as for me it does show a little bit of intent from the board to back the manager, which I'm surprised about, to be fair, so you've got to give credit where due there. Otherwise, a couple of other good signings. Centre back hopefully be better on the ball than some of the ones we got so far, and yeah, the free transfer that was confirmed today, don't really know too much about him, but I'm looking forward to see what he can bring to the table as well. Overall, decent amount in, couple of bad ones out, but we can't be too concerned because we've definitely had worse in the past where we didn't bring much in at all. So there's a little bit of rotation, new manager, just got to see what happens going forward.
So before you do go, leave a like on the video, hit that subscribe button. As always, we're on the road to 2,500 subscribers. We're just under 1,000 to go. I wanted to hit that target by the end of the season, and if we do, then of course we will be doing another giveaway on the channel. If you guys would like to support the channel and myself a little bit further, you can follow the links down in the description to either become a channel member, which gets you awesome channel perks, or you guys can do donations. But all I ask for is that you guys hit that subscribe button and hit that like button. Leave your thoughts on the Swans transfer window deals down in the comments, guys. So for now, from me, thank you very much for watching.